It's interesting that I've only ever heard the body parts don't matter thing. I've only ever heard that argument from people like in the LGBTQ community.
Right.
I've never heard that from anybody who is not in that community, I guess.
Yeah, because well, I am a part of the LGBTQ community because I am trans, but
Is that
like
weird to say like part of that community? Like,
I mean kind of because it's like I said, it's like going from one house and like moving into another,
yeah,
but I'm
like
still
you're still just
but I'm still
you.
able to go over to that house and like hang out for a while, you
Yeah.
know? But it's different because like I am a it would be different if I was attracted to girls because then I would be a trans woman who is also a lesbian as well. But I'm not. In general. Again, haven't met every girl on the planet yet. Yet. I loved how I said that just instinctively. Like I'm going to. Sure. But yeah, I so like there's nobody other than trans men in or like non-binary individuals. Trans or non-binary individuals are like like non-binary who are masculine are like really the only people in the LGBTQ community that I would realistically see myself being with. Um, but so therefore, my main like MO is the straight community. Like I'm just like any other wild girl at the bar who's like, "Hey, you're hot. Let's hang out. Let's chat," you know? But
And so you're attracted to masculinity.
indeed. Yeah.
Do you think it would be wrong if someone said that like their quality? Oh, this is not gonna sound right, but you gotta bear with me because I'm
Go for
processing
it.
an idea here. Would it be wrong if somebody said, "Oh, I'm attracted to people who have the anatomy of a of a cisgendered female"?
No, not at all.
Okay,
With my whole points of this situation is people who don't say that.
okay,
Um so like or people who haven't actually tried, you know? Like I was saying, I've established a good connection with you. I've like we've talked for a while. You like my pictures, I like your pictures. But the whole like and there's somebody who has not tried like being with a trans woman, but they're so firmly set on not being with the trans woman just specifically because of that body part, if that makes sense.
no, that makes sense.
Yeah. But if they were to say like, "Oh, I just like I'm addicted to vagina." I don't know. However they
Vagina addict.
wherever they want to however they want to say it, I'm like, "You know what? If you're attracted to that anatomy, that is cool because I don't have that." But if you say you're attracted to girls,
Mm-hmm.
hello, like I am a girl. So,
Because
it's
I asked that because I've heard people say that, oh, if you're not attracted to people who have transitioned, then you're transphobic. I don't know if I agree with
no,
that.
that's not true.
Yeah, that's a little bit out
If
there.
if you say that you are like attracted to girls, but you wouldn't date a trans woman just because of the anatomy she has, that is transphobic. If you say you're attracted to girls, if you don't specifically say you're attracted to
Vaginas.
exactly. Because in that sense, you are stripping the woman from a trans woman by doing that because you say you're attracted to girls and trans women are women. So if you say you're attracted to girls and you will not be with a trans woman is still like a woman, a girl. So therefore, if you phrase it that way, that is a transphobic way of saying it.
You're like taking them out of the category of being a woman.
Exactly. If you say that you are attracted to women with cisgendered anatomy, like who have a vagina and stuff like that, then that is understandable. That is not transphobic because the factor of being trans is not in that like scenario.
Would it be transphobic if they had the surgery to match whatever they identified as, and then you said,
Well, yeah, because then you're just like, because a trans woman who's fully transitioned and had that surgery doesn't have the body part that you're so afraid of,
mm-hmm.
you know?
I like how you said that you're so afraid of.
Yeah.
That's I I don't know. I I get the grouping aspect of it for sure, because they're trying to assimilate or be embraced in the group that they're saying this. Hey, I'm a part of this group,
Right.
and then you're saying, well, you're not really a part of this group, and you're like pulling them out.
Because if you really think about it, when it comes to when it comes to hooking up and you say like, "Oh, I'm not into hooking up with trans girls." That's different than saying, "I don't want to be in a relationship with trans girls." Because then that's just boiling your relationship down to just sex. Because if you're not interested sexually in trans anatomy, that shouldn't block you completely from being in a relationship because that's very shallow. That's just saying like, oh, like that's making well, I mean, sex is important to a lot of people. I get it. But for me personally, I mean, I'm like I'd rather just hang out and like get to know somebody than like fuck the shit out of them.
It doesn't have to be purely physical.
Exactly. And it's like a relationship should be more than just physical.
It definitely should be. If your
It's
relationship's
important.
yeah, if it's just physical, that's a problem. But if there's
Yeah.
no physicality, that's kind of a problem too.
Exactly. But if you're looking for a long-term situation, then turning somebody down when all the other factors are there that you enjoy, like good connection, uh like with clothes on, you think they're attractive because, you know, they're not attracted to a person with a dick. Um like with clothes on, they're attractive and you like talking to them, you like hanging out with them, stuff like that, then that shouldn't like with all those factors as a plus, but then just that one single negative, I personally find it shallow that that one negative defeats all of those positives. But again, that's just how I operate when it
No,
comes to
yeah.
relationships because I invest more than just the sexual aspect into relationships. So,
It's a hard point, and we're in a weird time where like it's the battle of ideas
mhm,
in a weird way,
totally.
and battle of just just humanity in a weird way.
Yeah.
Not to extrapolate it to some huge level, but it is a thing. I don't know if it's I don't know because I get it. I get if someone was said, I'm not attracted to trans people, and I wouldn't interpret that as transphobic, but I'm not trans, so I don't
Yeah.
know. That's like somebody saying, "Oh, that's not racist," and then somebody from that group being like, "Oh, this was kind of racist." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even know how to put what I'm thinking into words because I don't think that.
This is really bad phrasing, but it's kind of funny, but it's not as black and white as racism. Like it's like
Well, racism's not black and white either.
but yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that racism is absolutely black and white, but transphobia like isn't as clear and identifiable at this moment as racism is.
But is it transphobic if you're not attracted to trans people, or is it just like like how you're attracted to masculine energy? Wouldn't it kind of be the same thing? Like, oh, I'm attracted to.
I guess it all boils down to the way that you communicate it and the way that you phrase it.
Which makes sense. Because if you're
Yeah,
a dick about it, then you're a dick.
exactly. Because if you're going around telling people, "Oh yeah, I love girls, like I love fucking bitches," and it's like, but you don't include trans individuals, like trans women, in that same sentiment, then that doesn't make sense. But if you say, I am attracted to women that have cisgender anatomy, then therefore that is not transphobic because you are not, because the trans, like the category of being trans exists in the category of being a girl. But the category of trans does not exist in the category of having cisgendered anatomy. So therefore, the two don't correlate. But if you say that you're attracted to girls and that you're not interested in trans girls, then therefore they correlate, and like having those two same things is like a double negative or something like that. I don't know. It just it doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can have their own views. I don't care. But for me, that's my views.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. I don't know how.
because, like, so for example, if I was like, when I'm at the bar, if I'm talking to a guy,
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring up that I'm trans, and if they say like, "Oh, I'm only attracted to girls," I'll be like, "Well, hello, I'm a girl," and and then like that's kind of like me
Kind
trying
of like
to
a
make
slap in the
them.
face.
It's me trying to make them specify further, so that way the comments like that don't come off so transphobic. Because if they said that, like saying that, that is like to a trans woman's face, that is transphobic. Because you're like, oh, I'm only attracted to girls. I am a girl.
Would it be better or worse if they said, I'm not attracted to trans people? Whatever way. Would that be a better thing to say or a worse thing to say?
I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I think for that specific thing, I wouldn't mind if they said I'm not attracted to trans women.
Hmm.
That I would be fine with. But like, I think the best way to phrase it would be like I don't know. That's a good way to phrase it, I guess, in my book. But again, I can't speak for the
No, yeah, I'm not.
entire
Yeah, I don't want you to.
trans
Yeah.
community. And that goes for this entire conversation that we've had.
Yes, you were not the spokesperson
No,
for
I
being
am not the
trans.
mascot.
Yeah.